Well, I'm sure that you have seen a lot of websites, but have you seen any website without any writing? So welcome back and let's learn today about typography. In Webflow or in website development, typography is very important and has a lot of different elements into it. Let's add some elements here. First, let me remove this predefined text block. If I go to the add section and if I scroll down to the typography area, you will find that we have 6 elements for typography. And we will learn about these elements one by one. For example, first we have headings. Let me add a heading to my canvas. If I drag and drop this inside here, you can see headings are very big and they have like 6 different types of heading. First one is H1 and the last one is H6. And the first one has the bigger size and then the last one has the smallest size. Let me show you how this works. For example, if I have this H1 heading, if I convert this to H2, you can see the size is coming down. H3, H4, H5 and H6 is the smallest. Now when it comes to the website development, headings are the most important part because in the website browser, it understands your website text and the context based on the headings that you have. So in website hierarchy, if I explain you with the very basic level that H1 is the most important heading and H6 is the least important heading. For example, H1 has the higher value when reading the content, then H2 has a little bit lower, H3 lower than H2 and so on till like H6, which is the lowest kind of priority. If any browser reads your websites, what is written inside your website, is going to give it a priority based on the heading, and H1 will be having the highest priority. One thing you have to be very clear and very careful about, that whenever you're building any website, don't use heading just to make any text bigger or just to highlight any text. Headings have a very important role and they should be only used for the specific purpose. And if you want to make any text bigger or bolder, we can use other elements that we are going to talk about right now. Let's talk about our second element. If I remove this heading and I go to the add section, and then we have the second element called paragraph. If I drag and drop this paragraph here, now as you can see, paragraph has a lot of different, lot of lines. So this is the reason why paragraphs are there. Paragraphs are used for the text which has more than 1 or 2 lines, because if you have longer text, if you want to write long in the small letters, then paragraphs are important. With paragraphs also, we can design and we can give a styling based on the CSS. And we can make them bigger or smaller. We can style them as we want. But paragraphs are second most important elements, because if you want to write a longer content on your website, then you are going to use a paragraph for that. Let's come to our third element. When we add a third element, the third element will be the text link. Let me add that and remove this paragraph here. Now the text link is just simply a text with the link block. Right now, if you can see this, it's not written text, it's called link. And if I click on the setting, it has all the settings of link block. So Webflow or any website design tool is giving you a link block with the text built in, and it has a predefined style to it. So if I want to change the text here, if I can double click here and then change the text base, I can just say click here, and if I go to the settings and if I want to add a link here, I can add a link, I can add phone number. It's just a link block and it can be used as a button also. Now, for example, if I put a button here, now button is just also a link block, but with a predefined style to it. I can also convert this link block to a button and use it as I want to. So this is just for a link block. I have explained in my previous lecture. If you are not seen, I am going to mention the link block in my description down there. So let me remove this from here now and move it to the next element. If I click on the add button and then if I scroll down to typography, fourth element that we have is called a text block. We can use text blocks for smaller content whenever we are not going to use a heading or a paragraph. Now you can see that by the provided placeholder text that it is used for a smaller text. Okay, so we are going to learn a lot about the use cases of all of these elements into our future video when we are going to build a full-fledged page or full-fledged design. For now, you just have to get familiar with all of these elements. Let's move on to our fifth element. And if I add, and then there is called a block quote. If I add this element here, now as from the name you can understand this is a quotation area. If you want to write any quote or quotation, you can use this block quote here. Block quote has a predefined design to it, and on the left side you can see this line here. So if I want to write any quote, this is great. Okay, now you can see that I have changed the design and the style. You can also change the style and the design if you move. If you go to the right section and if you go to the border, I can change the color to the border, maybe red, and just to show you that this is a block quote and it has a predefined line on the left side. If I remove this element and if we move to the next element, which is rich text. Now, rich text is the most advanced element in website development, as it lets you gather all kinds of elements and group them. Rich text can have all kinds of reading and media elements. For example, it can have multiple headings, it can have paragraphs, it can have images, it can have videos, and most of the kind of elements you can combine them into a rich text. And the backend code also loves if you combine content inside rich text. Rich texts are very common for blog pages. Rich text is advanced elements. So we are going to learn very much more about rich text in future. For now, if I try to add elements, for example, if I double click here, you can see this is heading 2. I can change this to heading 1. I can change this paragraph. I can make this italic. Okay. If I want to have a link block, I can just simply click on this content. I click on this and this is a link block. Now I can give a website to it. https www.google.com, or I can just give it like www.google.com. So it has a link block now. Now if I want to add another paragraph, I can just simply add enter, and with the help of this small add button on the left side, I can add image, I can add video, I can add quote, I can add other elements, I can add music or location or maps, many other elements. For example, if I want to add an image, or maybe I can just simply add this image or this logo. This logo is there. I can modify the space of this logo. I can align it to the left side. Okay, and I can move it in the center, left side, right side, and I can I'm sure that you have seen some kind of content here like this in the future, where image is on the left side and the text on the right side, and these can be achieved with the rich text. One more thing I want to mention here, that all of these elements that I mentioned in this video can have a CSS styling. We can style them, we can rearrange them, we can change their text, and we can change their colors, we can change their heights and width, and many other CSS styling that we can provide. And we are going to do that when we are going to start our website. That's it for this video. See you in the next video.